She's trying to be seductive.
There are dogs on both sides of this hangout today.
Yeah. Although Indy barks and Sparta just like shakes uncontrollably.
Indy just moved the entire. Well, there's
Oh.
Indy just moved the entire cable.
Fun.
Maybe magic.
Oh. Andrea, Sparta's actually a vegan dog.
Yay!
Why are you shaking and looking at me here?
So she's excited we started the hangout. Hello, internet. What's going on? We're a limited time because this is going to freeze at any moment. We're only left in the library. Romance book club. Dog lovers. Dog babysitters and owners. And this month we're going to discuss Pride and Prejudice, but remixed. So it's called Pride by Zoboi. And also, happy anniversary, bitches.
Yay! Yay!
Is that your second banana today? No, I saw you eat a banana.
No boyfriend's allowed on the hangout. Okay, so this month the pick was Tashay's. So Tasha, why did you pick this? God damn it, India. Why'd you pick this?
Because the first book I chose was shitty.
No, it wasn't.
It was so bad. I started reading it, and like 5 chapters into it, I was just so irritated. And I was pissed at having to read it that finally I chatted Christine and Andrea, and I was like, hey guys, this book sucks. I don't want to read this for Hangout. I don't think any of us should have to read it for Hangout. And I was like, I need recommendations.
Made an executive decision.
Exactly. We pulled the plug on this thing because it was like I don't know what the final purpose of that book was, but it was coming off as very like anti-bisexual black man. And it was like pissing me off. And I didn't feel like dedicating time to reading a book and waiting to decide whether that was or was not the final sentiment in the book because it had a lot of bad vibes at the beginning and it pissed me off. So I was chatting with Christine and Andrea and I was like, hey guys, I need another book recommendation because my well runneth dry. And among many suggestions that appeared in the Only Lovers chat was Pride by A.B. Zoboi. And I was like, what's that about?
We all returned it, but it has this cover. It's pretty
cool. It's very pretty.
We all got it from the library, and we returned it. We all read it.
Support your local libraries. Mm-hmm. But so I was like, what's this about? And the words, Afro-Caribbean retelling of Pride and Prejudice came out. And I was like, fuck yes!
Pride and Prejudice and melanin.
That's literally all it took to convince me. I was like, yes. And then immediately went to the library and got it.
So because this is your pick, so we read it and then we're going to give our general impressions, spoilerific review, and then you're going to have some questions.
You can't give spoilers
I know,
to a book that's a retelling of...
Spoiler alert, there's Pride and there's Prejudice.
Anymore.
You know what? You're right. But still, like somebody might watch this and be like, I just want to know what you think. So like,
spoiler alert.
People are
judging.
I for a minute doubted it.
Spoiler alert. People are judgmental. I wrote some questions on my note.
Oh wow. I took no notes. But I did have a lot of conversations with Andrea about it.
Well, these are just questions.
All right, so I'll read the Goodreads. We'll go roundtable. Indy's really mad at the guinea pigs right now.
Oh,
come on, dude.
Because they're not friends or food.
Well, we just got them yesterday, so he's not used yet.
What are these things? Are you snacky?
Looking for the coffee from Canada.
The coffee from Canada is right in front of the spice rack.
Hey, can you bring me some
If
water?
it's not there, then check under the sink. If it's not there, then check. There it is. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Stop. Good job, baby. Also, your ass looking fat. Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
I'll read the Goodreads summary.
Yeah.
Okay. Pride and Prejudice gets remixed in this smart, funny, gorgeous retelling of the classic Starring all characters of color. Oh my god, my brain. Starring all characters of color. Oh my gosh. From Iggy Zoboi National Book Award finalist and author of American Street, which Andrea has read and said it's very good.
It's better than this one.
So Zuri Benitez has pride, Brooklyn pride, family pride, and pride in her Afro-Latino roots. But pride might not be enough to save her rapidly gentrifying neighborhood from becoming unrecognizable. When the wealthy Darcy family moves in across the street, Zuri wants nothing to do with her 2 teenage sons, even as her older sister Janae starts to fall for the charming Ainsley. She especially can't stand the judgmental and arrogant Darius. Yet, and Darius are forced to find common ground. Their initial dislikes shift into an unexpected understanding. But with 4 wild sisters pulling her in different directions, cute boy Waring vying for her attention, and college applications hovering on the horizon, Zuri fights to find her place in Bushwick's changing landscape or lose it at all. In a timely update of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, critically acclaimed author Iggy Zoboi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but whatever, skillfully balances cultural identity, class, and gentrification against the heady magic of first love in her vibrant reimagining of this beloved classic. And this isn't our first Pride and Prejudice retelling. We read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
This one was much better.
This one was better, but not by a lot.
No, by a lot. Don't pick up Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It was terrible.
Poor.
I thought it was funny, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so who wants to go first? Who wants to give their thoughts before Andy starts losing his fucking mind again? He's real mad at this fire. His fake fire.
His little butt. His little booty is just walking.
What is R-rated? Make it R-rated.
How did we all rate it?
I gave it 3 stars.
All right,
I don't remember if I gave it 3 or 4.
All right, so I gave it 4, so you should go before me.
I think I gave it 4 too. But I probably would have given it like a 3.5.
I can start.
Christina goes first.
Okay, so I really enjoyed this. What happened?
Nothing. I'm
okay.
watching you speak.
It was so intense. I thought I said something wrong.
People do. Like you
Sorry.
watch the other person while they speak.
You're absolutely right. I'm just crazy. So I really like this. I wish it had not been a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I feel like it would have been better had I not had those expectations kind of like set up, because I felt that the characters, like they're all playing like their archetype, you know, Lizzie and Darcy and Wickham, and so all of them are supposed to act a certain way, and then they don't, or their character makes a decision that is very sudden, and I was like, what's going on? Like, I felt like it was happening very suddenly, and I couldn't understand why the characters were acting a certain way, or that they were acting very intensely sometimes. Like Zuri just felt very one note for me a lot, and I didn't feel like they changed at all. What did I want to say? I can't remember what else. I should have written it down. Yeah, I thought the characters being from Pride and Prejudice was confusing, and also I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember what my beef was that I gave it 3 stars. I had given it 4 stars and I brought it down to 3. I don't remember. Blanking out completely.
Okay, so I'll go next.
You can go next, and if it comes back to me, but I think it was mostly the characters.
It's not my favorite ever retelling of Pride and Prejudice, but it's my second favorite.
Oh yeah?
My first one is always going to be I love them so much. But I thought this was pretty good. I really, really enjoyed the cultural parts of it, and all the food and all the stuff with her family. I thought that was really well done, and it was really cool to see it set in like a modern, like urban setting. I think the only reason that I didn't give it higher was because I wasn't as into the romance in this book. I think in other retellings, I've been like, shipping them more, whereas in this book, I wasn't. I mean, I was okay with it, but I wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't swooning when they kissed, and I wasn't like, "Oh my God, please make up! You're destined to be together forever." Like, I just wasn't feeling the romance part of it as much. But I really liked like the context of the book a lot, and I liked what it tried to do, and I really loved the author. I loved her other book, and she has a middle grade book coming out soon, which I'm really excited for too. I just like, I mean, I really liked it. That's why I didn't give it a higher score, because the romance wasn't quite there for me. And I don't know if it was because it was so fast, like the pacing, like Christina said, it was like, I think in other versions I've gotten more of a build up, whereas here it was kind of like cold, 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 lukewarm. And then it was like back to cold and then sizzling hot. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But really that's my only complaint, is just I personally wasn't feeling the romance.
If I may, now hearing you go for it, I guess, yeah, for me, the whole thing kind of fell flat. It felt flat to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ready to be like, ooh, and identify how all of the parts kind of like merged together. And I found that even when that happened, I wasn't like super into it. But I did appreciate the diverse characters, but the story, it wasn't like.
I love the just side note.
Mhm.
My favorite side character in the book was the lady who owned the apartment building.
Yeah.
She was super cool.
Rosalia? Was
Yeah.
that her name?
Who did all the cool, like,
La Espiritista.
yeah. She was my fave.
She was my fave as well.
I mean, I feel like we both talked about this, how we thought teens would love this. I felt like I was too old for this.
Yeah, I mean, it might just not be. We might not be the target audience.
I don't know. I mean, well, like I understand that, but also like I read a lot of YA that I don't have a problem falling into or shipping. So I just think in this particular case, I just wasn't super into the romance. But again, I think I did still give the book 4 stars. And I'm really glad it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I will continue to read like everything the author publishes.
I would also recommend it. I wouldn't like not recommend it. I just personally wasn't like captivated by the retelling or the remix or whatever else you would say.
Okay.
So what do you think, Tosh?
So, all very good, valid points, you guys. Thank you for sharing your. Thank you for sharing your perspectives. I basically agree with everything that you guys have said. The reason I gave it 4 stars is more because, spoiler alert, I lived in Bushwick for 2 years. So, to me, the world building was very accurate. It felt very true to the experiences that I have had in Bushwick. I lived in an area that was very Puerto Rican, very Dominican, very Caribbean. Walking down a specific street, you would see a lot of flags and a lot of cultural representation. And then walking a couple of blocks in another direction, you did immediately see the effects of gentrification. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed the way that they used the setting, like the way that the writer used the setting to help give the world just a lot more depth, because I did feel very pulled into it because I've lived it specifically. So
yeah, it's like I think kind of too, right? Like this the New Yorican kind of like experience. I always it and to have such a young character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cute.
Like it was fun to me to read about her walking with her sisters or her walking with the guys and going to the parks and walking down the street and listening to the music and, you know, going to the bodega and picking stuff up and seeing the street festivals and stuff, because that is what happens. They shut down streets and have barbecues. People have the pits outside and they'll have music blasting out of their cars. And it's very, when I lived in that neighborhood, similarly to when I lived in Harlem, there was a very Latino specific influence that you don't get in too many other neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
But there is gentrification happening. So all of these events that are being described in the book, I saw in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that really pushed the story into a really good and authentic place. Had it been set anywhere else, I probably would have given it 3 stars because the way the characters were built, this either needed to be a lot more like Pride and Prejudice or not be associated with Pride and Prejudice at all. It had to either like dive into it 100% or not try to be something that it's not, because I felt no investment in the romance, like Andrea said. Like I didn't care if they got together or not. I wasn't invested in it. There was a lot more buildup of her relationship with Darius, and a lot more, like, that made more sense to me. And even with him turning out to be like a creepy fuckboy, like that made sense to me. But there was so much immediate antagonistic energy between her and Darcy. I'm just gonna call them by their original names because I can't remember anyone's name. So between Zizi and Darcy, there was so much immediate animosity related to stuff that couldn't change. She immediately disliked him because he came from a family of money. It didn't even, like, in the original Pride and Prejudice, she has an open mind to meeting the family, and then he's a dick.
And then she hates him.
And then she hates him because he gives her a reason to dislike him. He's a rude, entitled piece of shit. And so she's like, fuck you.
I'm not, okay, he doesn't literally say it, but he basically says, I don't want to dance with you because you're a cow. Like, in the original, I mean.
Like, in the original, he's like, everyone here's trash. I'm not going to do this.
In this one, when they see each other, he just, like, he checks her out, and then she's like.
She has stank face on. She has stank face on from the minute that she sees them because she knows that they represent wealth, and she dislikes wealth moving into the neighborhood because it means that gentrification is coming fast and strong, and she's going to lose the neighborhood identity, which I get 100%. Like, that's totally fine. But he can't change that. He can't change that his family comes from money, and all the experiences that he has had as someone who comes from a family of money aren't going to be erased just because they do or don't get along. So the way it was framed just didn't make as much sense to me whenever they finally started hanging out, because you kind of get from the beginning that he's into her, and he thinks that she's like, you get 2 combating thoughts. It's her hating him because of who he is and where he comes from, and her seeing him as like an enemy. And then you have him outwardly being like indifferent to her, and then after she's a bitch, he finds no reason to be nice to her. But then eventually he's like, oh yeah, I've been into you from the beginning. But you haven't, because you barely have spoken, you don't spend any time together, and suddenly, like, I'm supposed to believe that you were actually into her this whole time. Like, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That definitely happens IRL, and it happens in other books, but that's not how dudes roll, Like, at least in my experience with guys, even if you kind of are an asshole to someone, if they're into you from the beginning, they're still going to be trying to, like, get in your DMs. They're not going to, like, completely flip on you because you go to the park. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I didn't care. And then when...
Hold on. I'm going to mute over here because we're about to get a lot of activity. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Keep talking. We're meeting on our end. Hold on, just a second. Wait, are you stepping out?
Oh, no.
Not more than what's happening right now. Sure, take him, Marker.
The dogs are getting
He's
walked.
being swept off into the sunset. Well, no, it's dark now. Oh. 100%, Tosh. 100%. Agree. Oh no. Are you still here?
Froze. Oh,
No,
there you
you're-
are. Okay. Okay.
You're back. No, I was saying 100% agree.
Speaking of either being Pride and Prejudice 100% or not at all, what did you guys think about the poetry thing? Because this is the first retelling of Pride and Prejudice that we've ever seen that had verse in it. So Tashay is shaking her head.
I didn't like it.
I did not care for this.
I didn't like it. I didn't think it added anything to the story, and I didn't think it was good.
I liked it because I liked it because it showed a little bit more to Easy than this like super strong, super aggressive, very just kind of like get out of my face, proud attitude. I felt that it gave her more dimension. I didn't think it was a lot, but I did like that aspect of it. It came to a point where whenever I started a new thing and then I saw a poem there, I'd be like, oh, here we go. You know?
It's really popular in YA and
Yeah.
middle grade right now. It's like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
a lot of Poet X.
like
I was like, a lot of this is happening, I guess.
I get the intention behind it, but we're already getting it from her point of view. So it's not like we're switching perspectives throughout the story. And whenever it switches back to her perspective, it gives us a deeper glimpse into what she's feeling. We already know how angry she is at everything. Mm-hmm. So then giving me a poem about how angry she is at everything, it's just interrupting the story.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think about it?
I just thought, like, of course, everybody's doing this now. Right now, I would say my reading is like 40% adult novels and 60% like YA or middle grade. And I've just been seeing so much of it. I just like assume now that if I pick up a novel that's like a hit novel, it's gonna have more of a verse in it. Mm-hmm. It's just the thing right now. And I mean, I understand if it's but I thought it was more of a how do you say it, like a
trendy thing?
Yeah, I just saw it as more of like this is the trendy way that books are being written now. I don't think it would have really made a difference. Like if you told me that she went to the spoken word event and did a poem about like gentrification or whatever, like I think the story, like it wouldn't have affected me at all not to have read it. Mm-hmm. Like telling me she wrote poetry without reading it. Like, yeah, I didn't. But I mean, I've seen reviews where people are like, "Oh my gosh, those poems really spoke to me." Mm-hmm. So again, I think just something about this book wasn't like 100% clicking for me. But I told Christina, I was like I said, her other book I liked a lot more. It's also YA, mm-hmm. but I liked a lot more. So I think it's just I still love the way she writes and the stories she makes. I think this book just didn't click for me like 100%. And I don't think it's because it's a bad book.
Oh, it's a little baby piece.
Click.
So I think I would have preferred it if it hadn't been interspersed throughout, and instead we would have had a big reveal of her like masterpiece that she had been working on that focused on gentrification and her suffering and stuff at the spoken word event. Then it would have been like, oh wow, she really does like, you know, she does a good job. This is good. Yeah. Other than all of these random things of like, I'm walking down the street to the beat of my feet and I'm listening to sounds from the records in the car. And all the white people keep showing up and shitting on everything. The bodega's $8 now. Like,
that's okay. That's the clip you're going to use. That's a soundbite.
Yeah, that's really funny. Of course, you could. There's no one like you, Tosh.
But other than
I get what you mean about it not it being like flavor, and it did give ZZ dimension. but it didn't add anything like new to what I was hearing over and over and over and over again. She's just like, okay, I got it, babe.
Yeah. But I didn't like hate it. After a while, it was just I didn't bother reading all of it. I'd read parts of it and then be like, the rolling hills.
Yes,
Moving along. But
yeah, it felt like, you know, I don't know, you don't have experience like in the classroom teaching or whatever, but it did feel like, you know, when you have this like kid in class and they're like super excited to show you all of their like drawings or pictures or whatever, and they want to show you like every single one of them. And you're like, okay, but I need to get to, okay, let's take a look. And you're just like, wow, so much talent. I support you. I'm here for you. Great. Okay. Thanks. Let's continue. Whatever. I've definitely had moments like that where I've already seen the entire portfolio, but like more and more and more, and I'm like, honey, I support you, but like I already, it's already been, you've already told it to me. I'm good.
Yeah.
After class. Tell me after class. After class, not right before. Thank you so much. Okay.
Email it to me. Email it to me.
And then I'll, you know, go
send it to me.
I'm gonna get water, but keep going. You got something in the kitchen?
Now, like I said, I liked it. I enjoyed it, but part of me is like, maybe I enjoyed it more because I already have such a great love for Pride and Prejudice that part of me is gonna like every retelling of it.
Nope, I didn't like the zombie one.
Nah, bitch. All right, so I can start going into questions if you guys are.
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, but I do agree, Tashay. I think the fact that it was like Black, Latina, like I do think it did like predispose me to like I'm gonna support this book no matter what. Hi, doggy.
I finally get to do this. Yay! Your breath is stinky, but you're adorable. Guys, she has a hoodie. You better lose yourself in the music.
She's ready for that Pride New York life.
Yeah. New York. All right. So my first question, which we kind of already delved into, but the way I phrased it is, if we take away the framework of the story that this is derived from, is this still a compelling romance? If you didn't already associate the characters with like Darcy and Elizabeth, would you care? And do you think there was any legitimate chemistry outside of the already anticipated love story between Darcy and Elizabeth?
I didn't feel it.
No and no.
Check.
No, I wasn't like when they kissed, it wasn't like super. I was more like, wait, now? Is it happening now? Like, where did this come from?
I agree.
But honestly, no and no. Maybe had this been like, had it just been like Bushwick Blues or some shit like that. So stupid ass shit. Look, I'm not in the creative department, so
a B-girl in Bushwick.
Yeah, whatever. So if it had been anything but like what I expected it to be, I probably would have enjoyed it. I probably would have been like, whoa, this woke ass young adult book. Holy fuck. Kids need to know about this gentrification nonsense.
Yeah.
Community, you know, I would have been like all about it. But because I was expecting something else. Like I wasn't expecting Lizzie to be on such a soapbox for so long. And that's okay. Not Lizzie, Zizi. For her to be doing that, that's fine. But again, not what I was expecting to read, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what is this? Shut up. Just get on with the do two turns in the room with the, come on, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I also felt like the way that the characters were written, I got it. Like that's the youth, right? Whatever. But I didn't feel like she had a ton of chemistry with Darius as as quickly as she had clicked with Warren. Again, I know that he's supposed to be the bad guy and it's supposed to be disarming and whatnot, but I was still like, Joe and Uncle Me, I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it read like very true. And then when it turned out it wasn't, it was like, wait, what? I flipped pages. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you flip pages, you're like, wait, when did this happen? Where was the clue?
Yeah.
And not to say that people can't turn on a dime, but but I was for a second there was like, oh, is this the twist that she ends up with?
Gotcha. I'm gonna skip forward to a different question because we started talking about Warren. How do you feel they used kind of technology to play Warren's bad guy-ness? Because in the original, he's trying to hook up with Darcy's sister, and that is what kind of leads him to become this whole bad guy dude. And now in this version, he's someone who preys on like much younger girls through the use of technology.
Like, I thought that was really realistic because people do that all the time. It just threw me off because I felt like in the original Pride and Prejudice, you, like Christina said, like you kind of have clues that this person might be kind of bad or like you don't want to root for him. But in this book, I felt like there weren't any, like he was just a great guy until all of a sudden he wasn't. And again, not to say that that doesn't happen, but in terms of like getting me to root for the love interest that the author wanted me to root for, it kind of threw me off because I didn't, like I was waiting, because I knew it was Pride and Prejudice, I was waiting for the shoe to drop because I was like, okay, this guy must have done something. Did you turn off the light?
Yes.
Oh.
I get it.
Okay. Go on. I don't know. It just didn't feel. I thought what he did was really realistic. It just like kind of came out of the blue for me.
No, I completely agree because, and that's why I had kind of issue with it because he went from like he's a smart dude, he's working his way through school, he's like hustling, he's trying to make it work, he's so chill, blah blah blah, to like.
And like he treats her nice, you know. At no point is he like,
yeah,
so, what are you wearing tonight? You know, like
yeah,
get under that. You know what I mean? Like he never makes like a sleazy comment like that to her.
Yeah, even when the sisters are like throwing themselves at him, he's not like chasing after them or doing anything inappropriate. And then it's kind of put on her sister that she ends up at the party and she's the one dressing up in tiny shorts and putting makeup on, and she's the one going to this party that she shouldn't be at, and she's the one drinking, and she's the one throwing herself at what's his face. And that kind of caught me off guard too, because I feel like the way that the story originally framed it, he was like on the low key flirting with people off screen, like you didn't know that he was sowing these seeds while he was also with Elizabeth, and then when it reveals, it's always like, oh.
In the other books, they mention it, like the younger sister will be like, I'm so happy, I met someone. They wouldn't tell you who it was.
Yeah.
But whereas here, it wasn't. She just, it all like went down that night.
Yeah, she's like, you're a piece of shit. You like revenge porned this dude's sister. Goes home. Where's my sister? Goes on to Instagram.
Yeah.
What the fuck? How did she even get to this party? And the fact that everyone's like, oh yeah, give her drinks. Yeah, woo, we're all like just crazy and wild. And she's fucking 13 years old. Like, all right, I understand people.
And then what's her face? The other girl is like, I would have never let anything happen to her. Like, what are you accusing me of? I'm like, but you knew this child was in your party, like drinking and.
Yo.
Yeah, that was a hard left. I was like,
yeah,
whiplash. I was like, ugh. And I also feel I don't like. Obviously, the Wickham character is predatory in the original text. It's fine, but I feel like
he's predatory. He's predatory because he's trying to secure a financial stability. Like he's predatory in that he's trying to use the women to get access to their money. This dude's just like, yeah, titties. All sorts of titties. Any age titty.
Oh, no. Anyway,
that's
whatever.
I guess that's how they built him.
I'm not rooting for him, and I don't think that it's acceptable. But
no,
I just don't know. I don't know how it's
just weird. It left a bad taste in my mouth.
It was just weird. He sucks no matter what.
Yeah.
He's a no matter what. But this was just really weird. I don't know. Do better.
Yeah. And then speaking of that weird 180 between the girl who was like trying to date Darcy but not really, because that was so weird too, because you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely dating, and then he's like, ha, I'd never date her. It's like, dude, you're driving upstate with her, you take her to your grandmother's house to dinner every other week. Like, if you're not trying to date her, then you're a piece of shit, because it's different the way that it happens in the original book, where family friends were like forced to spend time together. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like they were dating, but everyone kind of assumed that they would eventually end up together because they spent so much time together. Here, he's like actively taking her out and doing all of the things that couples do. And then he's like, nah, I'm just going to leave you here and drive this other girl home. Like,
yeah, that was a dick
That
move.
was so douchey.
That was a dick
I was
move.
like, fuck, these kids suck.
He's like, you misread the situation. Yo, bro, I'm pretty sure she probably touched your dick at some point, even though you're not talking about it.
Oof, oof.
It was just me.
He did her dirty.
It would be like if you go somewhere with a friend, no matter forget about whether that friend has a crush on you or not. But if you go somewhere with a friend and then your crush shows up and you ditch that friend and you're like, find your own way home, bye. Like, you're a terrible
person. You suck. You just fucking suck.
Like all the crush stuff aside, you just don't.
I don't know if I don't know eso. That shit to me, forget it.
I would have fucking slashed his tires. I would have been like, okay, I'll find my own way home.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you're like very enjoyable overall.
I'd be like, it's fine. Gonzalez always repays their debts. Mm. All right. I had a question about how did we feel about the way that they dealt with like the female characters in the book, specifically how Z and like the girl who was trying to hook up with Darcy suddenly are fine after that random encounter in the bathroom, or like did we feel like they were treated in a way that was similar to the original story, or was it very different in this retelling? And in making it different, did it make the story or the characters stronger somehow?
I think that, if it's okay, I'm just gonna you guys take it from there, because you know me, I'm gonna get lost in my own thread. But I thought that the women in the story were strong characters that suffered from the pace of the story, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Nobody was able to, I feel, shine as like a fantastic character, except for the bodega lady, who's pretty cool. And I did like the mom a lot in this story. Usually, right? That's the character that everyone like loves to hate.
Yeah, because she's annoying.
Freaking annoying. I thought she was a sweetie. I liked both of the parents in this. I wasn't rooting for just the dad. I was also like rooting for mom and dad.
I did think that part of the story made a lot of sense in making it that sort of Latino like family, because like it's true, like everybody's always like, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna get the boyfriend? Oh, I know Fulano, who's the cousin of Mengano, who would be perfect for you. Like I thought
he's got a job. He owns his own house. He just bought a new car.
These are all conversations I've had.
Yeah, I thought that part, it felt really real. Like sometimes, that's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, modern days, like, how are you going to translate that mom really pushing her? But like, it works. And like that kind of family, it really does.
I did like the female characters. I don't think that they were shafted or in any kind of way. I thought that they were really interesting. But again, I feel like the pace of the story kind of shafted them a little bit when it came time to like growth. Again, like this, it was a very brief story. So that's just how I feel about it. If you're asking about the ladies, I thought that they were all pretty cool. Yeah. I just didn't talk to a lot of them, or they were just very quickly, and then I'm just stuck with Zizi and
her poetry.
And her poetry, and I'm just like,
yeah. Because even the Charlotte character, it was like
cool, but like not enough for her there. I felt
like, okay, I'm really glad you got a job at the restaurant. Cool, and now you're dating this guy. All right. Okay. He also doesn't seem annoying or like irritating or like he's trying to hook up with anybody and like just kind of took the first person who said yes. Like
yeah, I think in other versions it's been pretty consistent where like he's just bien pastoso. Like in every version I've ever read, you're like, oh, this dude, just like get him away from me. But like in this version, I was like, he seems nice.
He seems fine.
Like he's not your type. That's fine.
Yeah, it was Zizi's problem that she didn't like him. He wasn't technically a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, go home, Roger. And he's just like, all right, I'm gonna go.
And her friend's like, whatever, he seems pretty nice. She's like, whatever, he sucks. I'm like, well, he seems pretty nice to me. Calm down.
He's so corny. He's so corny with his job. With his helping his grandmother with chores, going to the bodega, getting her milk. Fuck him.
Just trying to make it work, trying to also be like a part of this community, but she really looked down on him for kind of like being himself and trying to like, you know what I mean? I thought that was really hypocritical of her too. I didn't find that he was doing anything different than any of the other people that were there or anything she was doing. But she found him insufferable, and I was like, "Why are you doing this?"
I bet
he's your ally. He's on your side. Like, calm down.
If he had looked like Warren, she probably wouldn't have had any issues with him. I feel like if he had been more attractive, it would have been like, he's just like super passionate, blah blah blah. Okay, everything that he's doing, if someone less attractive did it, you would say he's like close to you. Ay, Dios mío, ¿qué le pasa? Wow. Put him in the bathroom. Okay, ¿qué más tengo? Okay. So I said, how true to the original characters were these personalities?
Okay, did you guys watch You've Got Mail?
Yes.
You know how they argue about like this one's pride and this one's prejudice, and then they take turns, but then they're pride and prejudice again at the end.
Yes, I remember
that. I kept replaying that scene in my head as I was reading it, but mostly because I was like, who is supposed to be what in this moment? I felt like
she was both.
Because to be fair, I felt that she was both.
He was a little proud, but just because in his mind, he's like, I shouldn't feel bad that my family comes from money. We're not bad people.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, this one's pride and this was prejudice. And I'm like, no, she's both. I feel very strongly.
Yeah.
Very strongly. And then
I think some characters pretty much just filled their like Pride and Prejudice role. Like what's his face that we were just talking about, the son of the landlord. Like he was very clearly just there to fill the role of that character.
Yeah.
So like some of them, but then some of them were like completely new. Like in the old versions, we don't really see anything of his mother it's just like, oh, well, she died and now he's inherited this or whatever. But she doesn't really play a role. Whereas in this book, I thought she was a pretty pivotal part of like ZZ realizing what she wanted or who she was or whatever. So I think I would have almost preferred more characters like that kind of took that Pride and Prejudice and then just became their own thing. Because I do think some characters just felt like they were there, like playing their role. But I really enjoyed the characters that weren't.
Gotcha. Good.
I want to write my own retelling of Pride and Prejudice.
Yo,
Oh,
for real.
I don't know if she told you, Tashay, but Christina said that because she picked Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and you picked Pride, that for our next anniversary, I can pick a retelling, and it'll be like our anniversary thing. And I said, okay, but then I'm not going to do a Pride and Prejudice retelling. I'm going to do a Jane Eyre one because I love Rochester, and apparently Christina hates Rochester.
I just
Look forward to it next year.
Isn't that like a thing? Isn't there like a very specific, well-known divide in people who were like either super into Darcy or super into Rochester?
I was super into both, but I was more into Rochester.
look. We'll talk about it.
You know that's coming exactly a year.
There is a
now.
divide.
Gotcha. I mean,
Pro Chester, no Chester.
wait. If I do this way, does it look like I'm aiming at Andrea?
No.
It looks like I'm aiming at Christina.
Yes.
Okay. Hates men who are disrespectful for no reason and like doesn't like characters who are ever mean to the main character. Likes characters who can be redeemed. Likes characters who have a complicated backstory who eventually grow into better people.
Okay, but like
That's
Well, according to Christina, he never grows. He just gets burnt up, and he's just burnt up.
It's
So-
true.
what the fuck is Miss Rochester? I'm just like I have a whole year to prepare for this, but I just like
I'm excited to see your flow chart. Okay. So I guess we already said.
Yeah. I'm not like pro Darcy or because I do think that he's kind of a piece of shit that uses his money to get what he wants, even if it's his good intentions.
Except in Lizzie Bennett, where he's just the most wonderful. Oh, we need to binge watch that again.
Capitalism.
Tashay, you've
is a
seen
true
it,
enemy
right?
Here.
I finished it last month. Month before
It's
that.
so good, right?
I finished it this year. It was cute. I was like, and then the thing with Lydia, and I was just like,
Oh my gosh, I know.
Mhm. And I thought that rang really. That's always been like the modern day scenario that I believe the most.
yeah.
It felt. I mean, what happens in the I don't know. It's just squicky, the war and shit. I just fucking hated it.
They're just also really great actors.
Yeah.
But the Lizzie Bennett Diaries thing, like countdown to like Lydia's like sex tape. I was like, I was going through it.
It's
I knew nothing.
horrible. Yeah,
No.
it's horrible. And then it's like that is the kind of shit that happens because there are girls who get emotionally manipulated into being in these relationships and thinking that they have to like save the dude. And then it just like blows up. Meanwhile, again, in this retelling, the 13 how like ella necesitaba un chancletazo. Like Lizzie needed to get her and like whoop her ass. Because it's like you're fucking 13 years old. You're going to this house party. Like someone could have like raped you or roofied you. Like te iba a pasar. Tú no conoces a nadie aquí. Like you don't know anybody here.
It happens. Like
No.
I mean, listen. The one time that Mike wanted to go to a party, I texted the mom and I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure, that it's okay that she goes. It was like a family party, but I knew there was going to be a lot of teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that everyone's going to be supervised and whatever. And she was like, I'm not supervising. This is what she basically said. I'm not supervising anyone. And if your kid is a hoe, then don't send her. Like, that's basically what she said. And it wasn't.
Girl, yes. To shy.
I was so angry. One, because I was like, whoa, why are you why are you assuming my kid is the problem? And then two, I was like, what do you mean you're having a house party with like teens and you're not gonna be watching like where they are?
That's how kids get pregnant.
Hmm.
God,
Well,
that's so stupid.
Asking those questions is how you prevent your kids from getting pregnant.
Exactly. Or yeah, exactly.
Anyway, yeah. So okay, it happens. There are unsupervised get-togethers with younger.
Yes, but no one at that party was like, why is this child here? They were fucking 19, 20-year-olds. Like, a majority of them would probably have been like, whose child is this?
There's a kid here.
Why is there a kid here and why is she fucking hammered? Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I would have beat the crap out of her. I would have sobered her up by whooping her ass. And then I would have videotaped it, and then I would have put that shit on Instagram, and then ruined her social life.
Oh dear.
Damn.
Who cares? It's because she cares.
Ay, Dios mío. Or maybe I would have videotaped it and not posted it, and then if she tried to like act up in the future, I would have been like, ¿Te acuerdas el video?
This is you acting a fool.
¿Te acuerdas el video?
¿Cuál es el videíto?
Oh, what happened the last time that you tried to do some shit without? Remember?
The lessons were learned and everyone was safe, and I liked it that I do like the versions where like Lydia is saved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in like the original, she's just married off to him.
Yeah, exactly.
She stays.
She's like, we got married and I love him. And it's like, all right, well.
And at least in this, it's like, okay, there's this, and now we're removing the problem.
Yes.
Throwing him away.
I agree.
So I like that. I like that aspect of it. I like that. I worried that, oh, they're just a thing now. And it's like a thing that's like, we don't talk about it in the family. Yeah. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want that. So I was glad that, again, there was a removal of like child and predator were like removed from each other.
Yes.
Throw the whole way.
So I said that like the setting was something that I found really compelling and that made the story better to me. Did you guys feel that the setting kind of helped elevate the story, or do you think it kind of distracted from it?
No, I enjoyed the setting.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never lived there, but I enjoyed it. It felt realistic.
And even through her incessant bitching, it gave Zizi something to fucking talk about. She had nothing else going for her. Take out the setting, right? So then you take out anything that she had to argue about. And what did she have to talk about? What was she doing?
Complaining about her sisters.
That's it. Complaining about her sisters. I would have read that book.
Yeah. And even if you take the setting away, she has no way of really getting into college because she's never left her neighborhood. She's never done anything. She's never had a job. She doesn't have anything to write about for college.
So, I thought that the setting was very helpful. I just thought that the plot centered around that. It made the story weaker because it didn't give her anything else to say but that.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for your perspective. Also, your pineapple shirt is adorable.
Where's your Marshalls, baby? We all wore, if you're still around, we all wore big earrings because, like, in the book on the inside, she's got like these super cool gold hoops, and I have a pair of them, but they're not here. And then I just last minute tried to find some hoops and couldn't. So whatever. Well, now we're wearing our own versions.
Yeah, we're representing because we are all Puerto Rican, and this is what we do. I'm also drinking Corona, and I made beans and arepas.
Yum.
Yes. Okay. So I had
I made pastelillo.
Oh yeah, true. Oh my
God. Puerto Rican food for lunch.
These pastelillos were vegan, but they were so good that the vegan at the vegan get together was like, this is freaking me out, man. They were really good.
Yeah, he was like, I trust you. I believe you that these are vegan, but
I witnessed it.
That's the best.
I'm drinking my nipple milk. Look, I look at this. Doesn't it says nipple? It's backwards right now, but it's supposed to be ripple, but it looks like nipple. especially when you look at it from far away.
Yeah, it looks like it says npu, which to my mind is definitely nipple.
It's pea milk, like pea the vegetable. No, PEA. But it's chocolate pea milk. No, it's not pee.
Andrea, you're gonna
PP.
girl.
Anyway, that's what I'm drinking.
I'm just having water.
Now you know someone out there is gonna be like, vegans drink piss.
Fucker.
Chocolate piss.
All right. So do you have any more points or?
I put if you thought that the money aspect did a good job of creating a class divide between Darcy and Elizabeth. Oh, you guys froze. Did you freeze or did I freeze? Are we all frozen? Are we all frozen? What's up? I can't tell. Oh no. Hello? Well, internet, if you can still see me, the internet in Virginia is a little shitty right now, and they are reconnecting. Just here by myself. Sparta, who's unconscious. Just drinking the Corona.
Quietly staring into the wall.
Yay!
Look, it's a complicated process. We gotta unplug the router, plug it back in, internet, turn it back on, refresh, rejoin.
You're back.
We are. So, what about the money aspect?
Oh, I was asking if we thought that the way money was presented, if it did a good job of like strongly enough creating a class divide between the Darcy family and the Bennett family, because I didn't really feel like they were like, yeah, they lived in a bomb ass house that I'd probably be trying to hang out in all the time, but other than that, it's kind of like, okay,
Well,
doesn't seem like that big a deal.
I did think it was interesting that at least in the original, right, their wealth is seen as a source of power and something to be admired. Whereas in Pride, it is a source of power for them too, but it's seen as having like a negative impact on the community. So it almost like brought them down a peg and made them into the bad guys, so to speak, because they had money. They were rich. I thought that was interesting. The mom in the original is obsessed with getting her girls settled with one of them or any of them, or just to get into their good graces, because that means security for their family. Whereas them coming into the community is like, interlopers, there's money here, and then we won't be who we are.
I did think it was an interesting choice to make them black, though, because I mean, most of the time it's you have like white people coming into black communities, and not just bringing in the money, but like changing the kind of businesses that come in there, and so I did think that it was interesting that she made them a black family. Well, I mean, if it had been a white family, there would have been no romance, period, because she would have never. She would have never. So I guess it was necessary for the Pride and Prejudice aspect of it.
She just sets their lawn on fire. Fuck your family!
No chance. And I think it would have been a different story too.
It would have been a different story.
Leveled the romance playing field.
Because I think because they were black, it was, it's like, okay, you're changing our neighborhood, but they couldn't be like super evil bad guys, because really they were just okay, but they had money, but like we're the same. Whereas if it had been like a white family, it's like you don't like. You're like taking
Get the fuck out of here, colonizing bastards.
Yeah.
So, but that made a difference from other books that I've read. Usually it's.
That's a really good point. It didn't even occur to me. Honestly, I was like, oh, okay, so they're like rich black people. Like, they're the.
Zizi would have just been like. Oh, there's new people moving across the street.
She would have written like a slam poem.
Protest
across the street. Crispy crackers across the way.
Neighborhood wide protest. Just throwing chancletas onto their yard in protest.
Because it ended up almost becoming a "I'm blacker than you" conversation.
Oh, 100%.
When they're walking around, it's like, well, you haven't been to this kind of event, and you haven't been to this thing, and like, how many people who do this do you know? So I don't know. It was interesting. Anyway, that was a total deviation. But.
She definitely was like, you can't just not pay respects to people in the bodega. You have to make eye contact and like dab. Or else you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. I don't think I've ever seen this in real life, but like, okay. He's like, I don't know them. Why would I say hi to them? Oh no.
Oh no.
There we go. Okay. We're back. But yeah, I felt bad for him. I feel like anything he did, she was just shitting on him. If he had said hi to them, she would have been like, you don't fucking know them. She doesn't say hi to them. She's like, you need to fucking respect people. He shops at the bodega. Oh, you're slumming it. He shops at the normal grocery store. You're taking money away from the local.
You don't support our community.
No manera.
Yeah, there really isn't.
All right, my last question was, do you think that this is a good addition to the Pride and Prejudice canon?
Yeah, I think so, just because, to my knowledge, every other Pride and Prejudice version is white.
For the Bollywood versions of it.
Okay, but like, I haven't heard of any of the Bollywood. What I'm saying is like, watch them. If I'm looking for a book to read or like a version of Pride and Prejudice to watch, I personally, and again, I read a lot of YA. I read a lot of I would know about it, And I have never found a version with characters of color. So for me, like, I think I'm glad it exists. Representation is important. There's teens out there who also like Pride and Prejudice and would like to have a version that represents themselves. So I'm glad that it exists, even if, again, it wasn't 100% match for me.
And I don't expect anything to match up, but I do. My level of excitement in romance, I wanted to match up, and it didn't.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's a great addition, and I do think that teens will really enjoy this.
I mean, representation matters, but, maybe people should be reading, like, Westwood Monster Patrol or something if they want to.
I know. Westwood Monster Patrol available on Kindle,
Amazon.
On.
If people want to be reading about diverse teenagers who are, like, reflecting, like, issues that you can see nowadays without worrying about a 13-year-old ending up at a house party and, what's going to happen if the dude had gotten away with it. But, no big deal. Whatever. So.
In the description.
Yeah, I'll link in the description.
That's a monster.
Oh my God, stop.
That's the YouTube video version of, oh my God, that guy who you think is cute is here. Mira fulano por allí, mira fulano.
Who did you want to be in the book, Tosh?
Who did I want to be?
Yeah.
I definitely didn't want to be the bitch who got ditched in upstate New York. I would have set his fucking car on fire. It takes a long time to get back from there. You got DC to here. It was in DC, right? That's a 5-hour bus trip.
Yeah, we took that one time. I remember.
Yeah.
Who
would I want to be?
The landlord. She was the coolest one.
Not Janae?
Who's Janae?
Not the sister?
Jane, the older sister.
Oh. No? Is that what?
Janae, yeah. Jane. She was in college. She was like in Syracuse University.
No, I did not want to be her because she was a little pathetic.
What was the name of the?
Like, it's just her character. Like, is always in any Pride and Prejudice retelling, it's inevitably like she loses him. She's like super sad until she gets him back. Like, it's not.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be her. I just want to know if you guys like. I want to be Zizi.
I want to be the landlord.
I want to be Money Loves Maddie. I just love me making money. She doesn't get in trouble. She's like, yeah, all right. You guys have fun. I'm gonna be over here selling some chiclets. selling some Vicks Vaporub shots to people who are coming down with colds in my school.
Yeah, I honestly like the landlady.
I'd forgotten about her.
And I like the mom too. I don't know. I really enjoyed.
I like the mom, but she's got so many kids. Like, she doesn't have time to just chill.
Not that I wanted to be her, but she was like one of my faves. I was like,
actually,
I was happy it wasn't awful. So
realistically, though, I've seen a lot of sick houses in these neighborhoods, so I would probably just want to be Darcy so I could have his sick house.
It's just basically, it's not just space.
It's. You just need to appreciate the space. It goes into the entertainment room with the TV and the pool table and the video games and all that shit. Oh, yeah. Space, right? Talk to me when you have a savings account, bitch.
Yeah. Right, they're still teens, too. Like, that made me roll my eyes a lot. All right. Thanks, Tosh. Good pick.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Andrea, who recommended this book, right?
It was Christina. Don't say that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't remember who recommended it.
No, it's fine. I recommended it, and Dre backed up the recommendation.
I said, like, I love that author. We should.
It was a community pick, to be fair, but it is Tashay's pick, and she wrote questions. And so, wait, are you done with my earrings? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm taking mine off too.
I don't wear earrings very often, and so I can't wear them for too long.
I was like, we're about to fight.
No, my ears are already getting like swollen because I've worn them for too long, and they're not real silver.
Oh yeah, I have to clean my earrings too. They're fake and they hurt my ears.
No, it's not your fault.
I go live on YouTube to be flayed by my best friends. That's
Wait, look how pretty these are.
They are.
They're like shields.
Well,
All right.
and
You guys, by the way, you guys both have like super cute hair right now, just so you know. Yeah, it's like super cute.
Thanks so much.
Like no big deal.
Night Tiger. I'm sorry, waiting for the library.
I'm still waiting for that fucking library book.
Yo, I'm like number 20 something of like some holds. I had the book, I read it, and then I have returned it. Now I'm like number 23.
Well, I have to go pick it up. So I'll read it quickly and then
What
give
the
it to
fuck?
Yeah. Oh, it's another Reese Witherspoon book, a book club book. So this is your pick.
Yes, and I picked it because if you have been following us for a while, you may have remembered when we did the Ghost Bride, aka Kris falls in love with a dragon.
I love that book so much. It's my favorite book. Okay.
This one I don't think has any dragons, but it has some like tiger shape
romance.
shifting. I don't know.
Ooh. Yo, I am currently number 26 of 111 holds.
Hold on, I'll tell you what my number is. Oh, okay.
All right, do you usually read the description of our next book?
Am I ever gonna get this?
Yeah. Okay. So it says it's another historical romance with like maybe some folklore and stuff. I think this is kind of like her jam. I think all her books are gonna be like this. So it says, when 11-year-old Ren's master dies, he makes one last request of his Chinese houseboy, that Ren find his severed finger lost years ago in an accident and reunite it with his body. Ren has 49 days, or else his master's soul will roam the earth, unable to rest in peace. Jilin, or Jilin? I'm going to say Jilin, always wanted to be a doctor, but as a girl in 1930s Malaysia, apprentice dressmaker is a more suitable occupation. Secretly, though, Jiling also moonlights as a dance hall girl to help pay off her beloved mother's debts. One night, Jiling's dance partner leaves her with a gruesome souvenir, a severed finger.
Ew.
Convinced that the finger is bad luck, Jiling enlists the help of her erstwhile stepbrother to return it to its rightful owner. As the 49 days tick down and a prowling tiger wreaks havoc on the town, Jiling and Ren's lives intertwine in ways they could have never imagined. Repulsive and lushly written, The Night Tiger explores colonialism and independence, ancient superstition and modern ambition, sibling rivalry and first love. Braided through with Chinese folklore and tantalizing mystery, this novel is a page-turner of the highest order.
Shit.
So like I told Kris when I picked it, I don't think the romance is going to be, they're kids. So it might be like a crush type thing and that's it. But I just really wanted to read the book. I thought it would be cool that like this author has literally only written 2 books and we've read both for book club. I think is really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Lol.
book is after that.
And we all like The Ghost Bride. So
Thanks for the dance. Here's a token of my appreciation. Oh, fuck. The fact that her instinct is like, I'm gonna return this. I would have flushed that shit.
Yeah, that's
someone
like a book on a limit, or like a book on a time limit.
Someone shows up 39 days later. Have you seen a severed finger? Yeah.
Also, that's like a really haunting limit. It's like, if you don't do this in 49 days, I will never have eternal peace. Like my ghost will roam the world forever. Like that's.
Oh no, I lost you guys. No. We're so close. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Very excited. Oh, well, I didn't even know I was going. I was just like,
yeah. No, you guys froze and I got so scared. Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like a personal problem.
No, but they're
49 days. I'd be like, oh, that sucks for you. Oof. That's,
just hit me up. I'll see what I can do.
I will give it a shot.
All right. Well, that's gonna be us, internet.
Bye.
Tune in next month for our discussion of The Night Tiger, and Andrea's burning questions for me and Tosh.
And you guys will be wearing your gifts for our anniversary that I bought you that I need to send to you.
Yeah, and you guys will be putting shit in the gift that I haven't finished making, and also maybe eating chocolate buttholes.
Chocolate buttholes, chocolate buttholes. It's a butthole, but it's chocolate. It's a chocolate butthole. All right, bye, internet.